The Infinite War has raged for 1,000 years. Billions of lives have been lost. But now the actors are assembled. The final act is about to begin. It is time for the Infinite War to end.
Hey, this is Charles Onyett here to review Supreme Commander. So this game's the spiritual successor to Total Annihilation, which any fan of that game will tell you they've been waiting for Supreme Commander for quite some time. And like Total Annihilation, this is a huge game, very complex, huge maps, lots of units, and just a really sophisticated game. And it's got 3 modes. You can do skirmish, you can do a campaign with 3 factions, and you can go online and play against other players. Then once you actually get into a game, you have 3 tiers of tech research you can do, which opens up more and more powerful units. You can eventually build experimental units, which are really powerful, and all the units you can make, either air, land, or sea units, all have their uses. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in the game. Now the factions are kind of similar, but once you actually start playing, you'll notice differences between them. For instance, Aeon have hover units, some UEF units, which is another of the game's factions, are shielded, and Tech 2 point defenses for each faction behave differently, and there's a bunch of other differences that I don't have time to get into all of them. One of Supreme Commander's best aspects, beyond the complex strategic gameplay, is the interface. There's a strategic zoom that allows you to quickly navigate between areas on the map by scrolling the mouse wheel back and forth. It allows you to pull back to extreme distances, and because the maps are so big, this is really important, and then just sort of pinpoint different locations on the map so that you can easily command the large-scale battles that are going on in this game. You also get the ability to queue build orders, drop down multiple waypoints, speed unit production and research, automate ferry routes, and there's a lot more with the interface that just makes it really intuitive, and because the battles are so large-scale, this is really a crucial element of the game, that the interface is easy to use and offers a lot of options, and it does. Supreme Commander really delivers. All this complexity means Supreme Commander has a huge learning curve, since you'll need to be totally familiar with all your build options for base defense and assault, and all the fastest, most efficient ways to get things done. You'll need to be familiar with a more complex resource management system than you're used to, and you'll have to manage multiple fronts of battle as well as continued base expansion. Playing Supreme Commander is about the farthest thing from a relaxing gaming experience there is out there. To be successful, you'll need to be constantly gathering intel on your opponents, since nearly every attack from nukes to Tier 3 artillery has a defense. It's a great game, but it can also be grueling, which again appeals more to the hardcore than the casual audience. While the game's multiplayer is excellent, the single player suffers a bit. Each faction, of which there are 3, have 6 missions, which translates to a pretty big chunk of available gameplay hours, somewhere between 20 and 30, depending on how quickly you get through. Each mission takes a really long time to complete, though, and since you're limited to Tech 1 and Tech 2 units for the majority of the campaigns, they can get boring because the units honestly don't have all that much multifunctionality. They're pretty straightforward in what they can do. So it's really not worth it to trudge through the early bits of the campaigns to get to the good missions at the end, when you could just load up a skirmish map or head online and enjoy a much better experience there. It also doesn't help that the storyline is particularly weak. You'll never be burning to know any kind of plot-related answers, so that doesn't really help strengthen the experience there. There are a few issues with unit pathing in this game, particularly with naval units when trying to give them formation move orders. This can get annoying during games since you're occupied with micromanaging so many aspects of the battlefield. You just don't have all that much time to babysit your navy. You're also going to need a powerful rig to run this thing, but if you've got it, the payoff is really pretty. Units, environments, structures, everything in the game boasts excellent detail, smooth animations, and the soundtrack is really top-notch. So, I mean, even though it's got steep requirements, Supreme Commander offers an excellent audio-visual package. Despite the issues with the single player and the sketchy unit pathing, this game is still a remarkable real-time strategy achievement. Any strategy fan, or pretty much gamer in general, should give this one a shot. Keep in mind it has a large learning curve, but the payoff is worth it.